Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share with you just a really honest outlook on what's going on in our lives right now and what's been happening. If you're new here, my name is Katrina and I'm a mother to 4 little ones. Today I am just turning on the camera and sharing a very vulnerable situation, life situation that I'm in right now. And some of you have probably maybe heard in the news, and I'm not really sure how far the news spreads when it comes to things like this. You know, sometimes you can hear about an earthquake on the other side of the world, and yet you might not hear something that's just happening locally in your own community. But for us, where we live is we live in Canada, in Western BC, and essentially what we've been dealing with is a really unusual weather system that's come into play. Now, I am not a meteorologist. I don't know a lot when it comes to the weather, but what I do know is basically we've had such warm weather that's triggered a lot of melt, and the melt has basically turned into some major floods. And essentially in and around where I live, I'm fortunate enough that I'm in an area where we're kind of in a mountainous sort of town, but there are many other surrounding communities that are experiencing extreme flooding. Like, we're talking people having to leave their homes, you know, their basements being filled to the top with water, people being trapped, all sorts of things. And so it's been pretty crazy the last few days of just sort of being glued to the TV, the news, social media, and reading about what's been going on in BC. Yeah, if you don't know, if you just hit hashtag BC storm, you'll probably get some insight into what I'm talking about. So yeah, so we've had some unusually warm temperatures which have created a lot of melt and a lot of destruction in and around BC, Canada. And so I myself, let me be clear, I feel very grateful that our house, you know, my family, my loved ones haven't really been directly affected by this. You know, they're not scrambling and trying to save their livelihood. But we are already experiencing the ramifications. It's like a ripple effect. When a natural disaster happens, you start to feel the effects of that not too long after, even if you're someone that wasn't in the actual chaos center of it. So for example, today I went to go and get some groceries, and I kind of had this feeling because of the way that people operated during the pandemic, and they started to clear off all the grocery shelves and buy all the toilet paper and all that sort of stuff. I had this feeling that this was going to happen. So I can throw in a few images here just to show you what's been going on, but essentially our supply for our major food chains, our major you know, industry, everything comes through a few arteries to our town. So we've got major highways, train, plane, etc. But what this mass flooding and essentially landslide situation has caused is it's caused roads to be completely washed out. And so a lot of our access points to get our food and just our general materials and needs has been completely wiped away. Like, it's completely surreal to look at images on the news and see that, like, roadways that I've driven a million times are underwater now. There are so many farmers, there are people struggling with, you know, dealing with livestock that have been just essentially destroyed because of the rising floods and the rising waters. And so I don't even know if I'm making a lot of sense with this, but essentially our access to groceries and basic needs has all been halted because we don't really have accessibility for truck drivers and for trains and for people to get into some of these towns in the interior. And so what's happened is it's created a lot of mass hysteria in my town. I just went to go to Costco today to go pick up some essentials, not a lot, just a few things that I thought we would need. And the lineup was basically wrapped around the store. And I had my 2 little kids, one in a bassinet trying to sleep, and the other, you know, she's 2 years old, and it just so happened it snowed, hence the Canadian toque that I'm wearing. And so it's freezing outside, it's cold. And so I just couldn't make my kids sit in a shopping cart while I waited to get into the store. So I went back to my vehicle and I kind of broke down, and honestly, I cried. I can't be around this kind of mindset. It gives me terrible anxiety because I'm trying to be a little bit more calm and level-headed about all this. And I know that, some systems are going to be put into place to help get these vital essentials to people, but there's also another group of people that are going to react a different way. It's scary. And it sucks because the rest of the world gets to kind of carry on as usual. And now I feel like our whole sort of month, time ahead is going to be stunted. It's going to be changed. And honestly, I've been holding on to this idea of Christmas and just getting so excited and preparing. And I ordered a whole bunch of things for my kids, from small businesses across Canada that I wanted to support. And I did this like weeks ago. And now all the mailing system is being halted because they can't physically get trucks to us, where it's like, if you imagine a bridge between two towns and there's a giant sort of valley, and once the bridge is broken, you can't reach that other town. Well, that's kind of what I feel like is happening with us. Our major highway, part of it got washed away and there's no access point. So we're kind of sitting ducks right now. There's other alternative routes, but they're hours and hours longer to get to our city and our towns here. And so everything is just going to be halted. And so it's not good. It doesn't feel very good. I wondered how long it would take for this guy to wake up. And the other one might wake up too, so we'll see. But yeah, he's still in his pajamas and it's already noon. And it was because I was just so rattled by the situation that I packed up my kids and we flew out the door to go get stuff. But we came home with nothing because the lineups were too crazy. Hey? I'm grateful that I have a home that I can hang out and feel safe in and just sort of bide my time and find peace. And I'm grateful that I have my kids, that they can keep me going and distracted from the worldly chaos that everybody's dealing with. I heard some pretty horrific stories of people getting caught in landslides, mothers like myself having their vans getting pushed down a mountainside into a ravine, kids being trapped. It's a crazy situation that we're dealing with right now. And it's got everybody on edge. Everybody is emotional. And it's a really tough time. And it brings back a lot of trauma for people that live here in BC like myself from our wildfire season. And I know I talked about that in one of my other videos, but I didn't really share a lot because it was deeply traumatic. My parents had to leave their home and they were afraid it was going to burn to the ground. And it was just a lot. You want to be on camera? You see yourself. It's very distracting in the viewfinder when you can see yourself. So forgive me, but maybe this is my cue to go. Anyway, thanks for listening to this long-winded talk, real talk, and hopefully, I don't know what you'll get out of it, but just know that if you're struggling today, know that you're not alone. I'm there with you. I have my struggles, whether it's struggling because I didn't get my laundry done that day or whether it's dealing with sort of the craziness of the world. But, we're hardy. Humans have endured a lot more than that. And somehow we just keep on going. So I think there's a part of us that we don't give ourselves enough credit for. We're tough and we can endure and do hard things and come out on the other side as better people for it. So thanks again for being here and supporting our little corner of YouTube, and I will definitely see you guys in the next one. Bye.